Everywhere I go, the children rising. Everywhere I go, the children rising. I saw them just rise up, the wicked running. I saw them just rise up, the wicked running. Equal rights and justice, when I defend, we won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. If you go in America, if you go in Canada, if you go in Africa, I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. I get rolling to the people, yeah. The fire burn, the wicked, wicked people, and the fire burn, the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn, them wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn on the wicked, burn on the dancing. The fire burn, the wicked, wicked country, and the fire burn, the wicked, wicked town. The fire burn, the wicked, wicked city. Fire burn on the wicked, burn them. When it's impossible to see what's become of our people in their life, we do with so much evil. We will wobble, a triple ton and trouble them. Sell them soldiers to work for the devil. But judges say, judgment may soon come when the ball of our sword and once again can complete down with beautiful Nash. People, them are more with judge and pour out his rocks and fire and bring so low. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked people, and the fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn on the wicked, burn on all of them. We say the fire burn the wicked, wicked country. The fire burn the wicked, wicked town. The fire burn the wicked, wicked city. Fire burn on the wicked, burn on Babylon. You know the people them must suffer and the world and eat and bleed while you spread your lies and propaganda, sow your bloody seed. The children working, the fingers to the bone while you pay all the money to some pretty face without a clothes. And your time will come, it will come. Just say when you beg the hills for cover, but the hills will run away. When we listen, when we love, it meant too late to have forgiveness when you will begin to burn. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked people. The fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn on the wicked, burn them all of them. And the arrow pressing, we shall overcome, but certain nations out instead. I give a little and even shed it, yes. Easy said it now, but daughters for some butter or the bread. The fathers giving their lives up to son, doing battle for the devil, warring for the wicked one. You might think this is just another song, but the blood you spit, you're calling out a long way, yeah. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked people, and the fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them, wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn down the wicked, burn down all of them. They say, fire burn them, wicked, wicked people. fire burn, wicked, wicked men. The fire burning, wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn on the wicked, burn them all of them. They say.
Shalom and blessings to all of my brothers and sisters, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises, whose are the fathers, and as concerning the flesh, our Mashiach came, who is overall Elohim blessed forever and ever. Amen and hallelujah. Our praises to our Heavenly Father, our praises to the Son, and our praises to the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, the one and only divine Elohim of our forefathers, of the prophets, of the apostles, and of all Israel. Shalom and blessings. Every time we open up, I'm going to keep reminding us of what belongs to us. That's why we open up. We're letting you know that to us pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises. And we are the ones who belong to the Father. And when Mashiach came in the flesh, it says that it behooved him that he was made like unto his brethren, so that he could be a more merciful and faithful high priest and becoming a sacrifice for the sins of our people. And so keep that in mind, brothers and sisters, always. I want to say shalom and blessings to everybody. I want to welcome you to this fellowship. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with the enemy, the devil, letting you know that oftentimes people give the devil more credit than what he deserves. We're going to show you tonight that the devil is scared, y'all. He's scared of us. He's scared of the Most High's chosen people. All right. That's what we're going to be dealing with tonight. We're going to be getting into some extra biblicals. And as always, the reason we show you these things is to remind you and to show you of things that's been hidden. We talk about cheat codes a lot. All right. And so within that, there's a lot of basic fundamental things that has been hidden from us. And so we're going to be dealing with some of that tonight. Got the brother Hal G. What's going on, my bro?
Brother Eric, all good, man. Great to be here. And yo, bro, I love that opening, man. That is a great statement to open up with the Israelite family, man. That's wonderful. I love it, man. Everybody in the chat, hope everybody is doing well. Great to be here. Y'all bless.
Speaking of the chat, let's see who we got. We're going to do the roll call like we do. Brother Jason Camper, shalom and blessings. As always, good to see you in the chat. He in first place today. Got Mikael Yasharel, shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're having a good one. Maria Yakira, shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat. Brother Darnell Blackshear, shalom and blessings to you. As always, good to see you in the chat. Sister Cindy Clark, shalom and blessings to you. Got the brother Smitty. What's going on, brother Smitty? Hope you're doing well, bro. I'm gonna put the link in and let you chime in if you want to, because I'm gonna be showing some stuff that you sent to me dealing with this week in the church. So you might want to give some breakdown on that. Got Mr. The Original School. Greetings, Salt of the Earth Productions and True Israelite on the chat. Happy Sabbath to all. Happy Shabbat. Greetings to you, Mr. Original, and also to the brothers and sisters, I want to say Happy New Year. to everybody who's aware of that. And if you're not aware, this is the time of year, the springtime, when everything is made new, when the seasons are new. And according to the Hebrew calendar, as we understand it today, this is the month of Abib, where the Passover is kept and the Feast of Unleavened Bread is kept as well. And so Happy New Year to all the brothers and sisters in the chat. Sister Sheila, shalom to you. Shalom and blessings. Good to see you. Carl John, shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well. Barben Yasharala, shalom and blessings. Good to see everybody in the chat. Hope you're having a blessed week. Donovan Ben Judah, what's going on, Brother Donovan? Good to see you in the chat. Got Sister Rising Moon, shalom to you. Good to see you in the chat. Davion Murphy, shalom and blessings, my brother. Good to see you in the chat once again as well. Got the brother Enoch. Hope all is well with you. Good to see you in the chat. Elise Numi, shalom and blessings, my sis. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Got my love Shibriya in the chat. Shalom, good to see you. Let me see who else we got. Got Darren Newell. Shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you in the chat. Seeing a few new people. Got Mount Zion Yasharalam. Shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat. Nikki Westwood. Shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you in the chat. Aktual Israel. Shalom and blessings. Hope I'm getting these names right. You know how Israel is. We sensitive about our names, so we want to get that right. Son of Yahuwah Taj. Shalom and blessings, my brother. My Ak. Good to see you in the chat. And also, a lot of people are in tune with the Hebrew language, and different people have different pronunciations. So we want to, be respectful to everybody. Brother Kadar, shalom and blessings, Brother Kadar. Check your email. Got the link in there for you. Ecobella, shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well. Saraya, shalom and blessings, my sis. Hope all is well. Look like that's pretty much everybody in the chat. Hope everybody having a blessed day and having a blessed week. Hope everybody get a chance to relax this weekend. Before we move forward, I want to let the brother Hal open up some more. You got anything you want to share with the family, with the upcoming work, or just with anything in particular, or not in particular, anything in general dealing with some revelations, or just anything you got for the family, bro?
No. Just yeah. So I told you guys a while back. I'm doing some work revolving around the law and how the law is related to Hamashiach. So much related that they're actually the same. The work is coming along well. Every now and then I, check in with the Brothers of Salt of the Earth just to make sure I'm on the right track with this. They're giving me some guidance and some help in writing it and getting my, getting kind of the word of Yah out on the presentation, and we'll have that out to you guys sooner rather than later. Right now, I think we all want to be kind of focused on the work Brother Banya is doing with supersessionism. He's got some stuff coming out very soon. I believe it's going to be next Sunday, correct, Brother Eric?
Yeah, from my understanding, that's the projected time on that.
Yeah, and that's really exciting because that's gonna, part 2 of that, and then the follow up to that is going to be great. So, yeah, there we go. It's out on the screen right now. So we really want to be focused on that right now, and I'm really focused on it. I can't wait for that to come out.
And as far as the work that Brother Hal is doing, like he said, he's coming with the understanding of Mashiach being the law, right? Making a connection to show that it was him who gave the law, and it's him who is the law. So we can't do away with the law. All right. He didn't come to do away with the law of the prophets. He came to fulfill. And so where Mashiach be lifted up, the word tells us that he'll draw men. And so that's what we want to do for that work. We want everybody to be present and to be, aware of that work that the brother's putting together. And I want to thank the brother for that. He mentioned the upcoming work with Brother Banya, Supersessionism Part 2. That's really going to be the overall scope of this work. But this is the title of the presentation of that particular day. Come Get This Work, the beginning of the end for Christianity, where he'll be pretty much dealing with Part 2 of the supersessionism as well. And that'll be more of a open panel. Once everything is presented, then a panel will be opened up for the brothers on the panel to speak and express their thoughts on the work. And then the panel will be opened up for the chat as well. So just so the brothers and sisters can be aware of that. All right. The upcoming work, like we said, is projected for the 9th, which is next week. All right. If anything comes up, we'll let you know. Like we told you, the brother's trying to do the best he can as far as putting this together, doing good quality work for the family. So be on the lookout for that. Also, the website, trueebri.com. If you haven't, go ahead and slide on over to the website and check it out. Got a lot of nice merchandise over there for brothers and sisters who question how they can support. That's one way that we open up for support. For whatever you give, you get something back in return, something that can last you for a long, long time. Some you can be, I don't want to say proud, but for lack of a better term, proud to have, and it can last you for a long time. Nice merchandise, trueebri.com. Want to thank everybody who has went on to the site. We got some good feedback from brothers and sisters about the merchandise. They're very pleased. And so that makes us feel good to know that you're satisfied and you're pleased with the support that you've given us. So trueebri.com. At the end of the presentation, I'll go on the site and give everybody a look around on that. But let's get our opening passage for the day. I think Brother Yash is trying to chime in, but okay, wait a minute. All right, he blanked out. When he come back, I'll let him in, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this for now. The opening passage is gonna be Isaiah 61. It says, "The Ruach of Adonai Elohim is upon me, because Yahuwah hath anointed me to preach the glad tidings," or the gospel, "unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah, and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn." Let me do something real quick. It says in 3, "To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of Elohim. One of the points I make oftentimes is that a lot of people call themselves servants of the Most High, but the Most High said Israel is his servants. All right. It says, ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers or the servants of Elohim. It says, ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. All right. So I thought the Gentiles in the New Testament was a part of the riches of Israel. But it says, ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. And for your shame ye shall have double, and for your confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, Yahweh, love judgment and hate robbery for burnt offering. And I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. Speaking of his chosen, that's why I tell you in Romans 9, where we started, it says, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants, plural. Right? He said he's going to make an everlasting covenant with them. Right? And it says, and their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh had blessed. So much for there is no hierarchy. If all the nations are going to recognize us as the Most High's people, if all the people right now recognize a certain people as the Most High's people, and look at how they regard them, you know, how much more so us. 10, it says, I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my Elohim, for he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. All right. What's the garments of salvation? It's talking about his righteousness. It's talking about his covenant. All those things that's going to keep us out of harm's way when he starts to bring the judgments down on the nations. These are the garments of salvation. He had covered me with the robe of righteousness. And if you want to put this in a physical sense, look at your skin, right? We look like him. So both in the physical and spiritual sense, we have the garments of salvation. He said he had covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh herself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels. So at a time when there's gross darkness covering the people, he said that our light is going to shine and all the Gentiles going to come to our light or to our salvation. All right. He say go be a light to them. All right. It says, for as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth things that are sown in it to spring forth, so Adonai Elohim will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. All right, he's going to do that through his people. And all those nations who see our light are going to cleave to that. Those who he spared. Isaiah 61. What's on your mind, Brother Hal?
Yeah, I was just going to say what you just read back in verse 10 right there, where you talking about the garments of salvation,
Yeah,
talk about the robe of righteousness. I love that point you just made about our skin. I
yeah,
love that point you just made about our skin. And what we're going to be talking about today, talking about, how the devil is scared. We also see in Ephesians, Paul talk about a different type of garment that we need to put on, different types of garments, talking about the
right.
armor of the spirit. And we got that, I believe it's the helmet of salvation he talks about right there. So a lot of different garments coming on to protect us against the wiles of the devil. And that's going to be what we're talking about a little bit today. So good word, man.
All praises. I guess Brother How, we fit the description, huh?
Yeah, we fitted too well, bro. We didn't even know we fitted until we woke up, but we fitted all too well.
Man, I want to thank everybody for joining in with us. We're going to take a break, but before we go, I want to mention that Kingdom Conversations will be back in the rotation this coming week. Most High wills, and our praises for that. Talk to the brother Cleo. He's been busy working on other things. You know how that goes. But now he's back, and he hadn't. I think he did put up a thumbnail for it, I believe. I'm not sure yet, but in any case, that will be back in the rotation this week. So just to let the brothers and sisters know about that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, y'all know how we do. We're going to get into some things that's happening around us. I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of the climate. We're going to briefly touch on some things and give some thoughts, and then we're going to move on. Most High told us not to be caught up in the world and not to concern ourselves with the things of the world. And so we're going to look at some things, express our feelings on it, and then we're going to move on with that. But I want to say shalom to everybody once again. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for your time. I hope that what we bring is edifying. We'll be right back. Shalom. Shalom and blessings, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. Now, before we get into anything going on, we have to play our fair use, not play it, but show it. You know what I mean? So let me get it up. Here we go. Fair Use Act disclaimer. This site is for educational purposes only. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. Fair use. So, Brother Hal, I'm thinking I should get a sponsorship for the Fair Use Act, man.
Well, I think, who was it? I think it was Brother Cleo who said he's just going to do a recording and just play it every time. Was it Brother Cleo or was it you?
I know I did mention doing that and speeding it up. You know how you hear that whenever you look at those commercials at the end and have that disclaimer at the end.
Yeah.
Barely understand.
Yeah. I mean, it might, I would love to think that it would be enough to just flash the disclaimer on the screen, but
Yeah.
YouTube has been going pretty crazy lately, so you probably just want to read it out.
Right. And I think we just got a strike anyway,
Exactly. Yeah.
Brother Yash, I saw you try to get in. If you're still in the chat, I'm still waiting on you. If you're still in there.
He actually wrote a message in the chat. He said he's having some system issues, so he's going to be in the chat today.
Okay. So this is what I want to share first. We know about about all the information coming out about Antarctica and the ice walls and everything. I want to share something on that. This is a video pretty much showing how when rockets are shot up in the sky, they have to travel outwards instead of up as a means of avoiding crashing into the firmament. All right. And so let me pull that up. Okay, let's check this out.
Or to the wall in Antarctica. He said that the machine bored a tunnel. I don't remember exactly, like 5 or 10 miles into the wall, but that they never broke through the other side of the wall, and that they still don't know how thick the wall is even to this day. And I'm probably not remembering this part correctly, but I think he said that at first the floor of the tunnel was solid rock, but after a mile or two in, the floor was sky ice, like it was sky ice underneath after a certain point, or something like that. And apparently the wall slowly builds itself back up. So it slowly builds itself back up after you cut it, because after a year or so, the tunnel had shrunk smaller all by itself, like a self-filling wound. It starts closing up. They had to leave the boring machine inside the wall because the tunnel shrunk too small to get it back out. And after a few decades, the tunnel was completely gone. Like the part of the wall was solid again. He said that now the scientists were trying to use technology to figure out how thick the wall is. He said something about putting earthquake sensors all along the wall, and that somehow you could measure the signal from an earthquake to see how thick the wall is. But he kind of lost me on that part. I never really thought about any of that after I left. It was really weird stuff, but I didn't think it was a big deal at the time. But then a few weeks ago, I saw a map of the wall in Antarctica, except the map was all flat and crazy looking, and it showed the wall going all the way up over the whole Earth. So since then, I've been trying to learn more about the sky ice that I saw and the wall that I heard about, but I can't find anything at all. So now I'm really wondering if there could be a connection here. And that's how I found this group. So I hope that maybe some part of my experience will help someone figure something out. Well, thankful to that person if they were telling the truth. That is some very interesting information given what we know surrounds us.
So basically what they're doing is using their technology to try to penetrate the walls that's surrounding the earth. And they don't know how thick these walls are. And whenever they penetrate them over time, whatever they use, a missile or whatever, it pretty much heals. It says it's like a self-healing wound. So they don't know how thick this wall is, and they don't know what's on the other side of it.
That's crazy, man. I've never seen that before or heard about anything like that. That's kind of that's astounding to me right now.
They even mentioned sky ice, and I have another video showing how when they shoot missiles and things up into the firmament and try to break through, ice falls down, and it's called sky ice. And this ice is it's not like ice that we know that we use. It's the color of it is blue, like a dark blue. And they said when it melts, it doesn't leave any water. It just sort of shrinks, you know.
Wow. Wow.
And so
this is like something. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the brother's name right now. He's got his own channel. He's on here sometimes. My apologies. His name is skipping me. But this seems like something that would really be of interest to him. Probably something he knows about already.
Talking about Big Red.
Thank you. Why could I not think of Big Red? But for some reason, it was just.
They had.
Yeah, this Big Red game right here. This kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is another one right here. I think it's gonna talk about the ice, the sky ice. All right, check this out.
They had two different kinds of ice they worked on and studied. This is where it gets interesting. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear and sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice.
So they have this sky ice, but they said whenever a mainstream outlet, National Geographic or somebody came through, they didn't have this stuff out. And so this is something that, like I said, they know about, but they don't release these things because these things pretty much affirm and confirm the very thing that they've been trying to keep hidden. Look at that ice, the sky stone, the mysterious stone made of pure oxygen. They can't measure the temperature of it. They can't touch it. And when it melts, it doesn't leave water. It just shrinks.
Wow. Hey, Brother Eric, can you put that link in the chat for everybody and also myself?
This is actually on my private page. So sorry, y'all. This is an exclusive. I don't really know how to even share the links from these onto. Wait a minute. Hold on. Do me a favor, bro.
Yeah.
or anybody in the chat, and let me know if this comes up.
Wow, this is some interesting stuff. I've never even heard of this stuff, actually.
All right, somebody click on that and let me know what come up. I'm gonna play some more.
This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue. He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear thick, heavy going outside gloves to handle it. The stuff was so cold, it would instantly freeze your skin if you touched it. I don't remember what the temperature he said it was, but it was something like hundreds of degrees below zero, way colder than the normal ice that was outside. He had to carry it in a metal bottle that was kind of like a thermos. He let me play with the piece of it for a while. It felt lighter than a piece of normal ice of the same size, like it wasn't very heavy at all. It almost felt like you could throw it up in the air and it would just float back down. But I didn't try that. And it was also a little flexible when I tried to bend it. It didn't break like normal ice would. And even for a small piece, you could see through it. It was solid blue right from the surface. And here's the really weird part. It didn't melt into water. When it got warm, because we had it inside, it just started to shrink. It got smaller and smaller, but my glove never got wet. And there was no water on the floor. The stuff just turned into thin air when it got warm and vaporized. He said that was the reason why they had to study the stuff right there in Antarctica. You couldn't take the sky ice back to America to study it because it was almost impossible to keep it cold enough during transit. And then they shared a verse right here where it says, "And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man."
What you think?
Yeah, the video link that you sent out is good. It works. But did you know, I did notice in the video that when he was talking, he said that it was too cold for him to touch. But then in the video, it looked like there was some people actually handling it with their hands. So
yeah, that might have been a something like a decoy or something to compare the color of it.
Huh.
But
okay.
But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, man, because what we know that they're trying to shoot up into the firmament and all those different types of things, which I don't think they really want to do anyway, but you know how they are. And I do know and believe that they are coming in contact with things that we don't know about. And that may be one of them,
Right. No doubt. I mean, there's definitely things about this world that hasn't been discovered yet, that they're still, looking into, and certainly some things they know about that they're not letting the public know, trying to keep secret. This could just be one of them. Yeah, this is really interesting to me, man. I've never even heard of or seen anything like that before.
Yeah, we all know about the ice wall, and only Most High knows what's beyond that. I remember when I first started looking into stuff about the Earth not being a globe, I came across this video, and it talked about what was his name? Admiral Byrd. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
The video that I saw, it talked about how when they went over to Antarctica, they were able to get onto the surface of the ice and to move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said they traveled so far into Antarctica or into the surface. One report, he said that they started to see other lands and things like that.
Yep.
But then in another report, he said that as they were moving forward at one point, he said the aircraft that were moving ahead of them started to explode right in the middle of the air, just right out of nowhere, just started exploding. He said that they thought that they were being attacked, so they started to retreat. But come to find out, what they were doing was the aircraft, they were running right into an invisible barrier.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they were being attacked, but the planes were running into these invisible barriers. So they found out that there's only so far you can travel in any which direction before you reach the barrier.
Yeah. Yeah, I did hear a little bit about him and his experience out there. And how, the possibility of them trying to keep him quiet, as quiet as possible, was really out there. Yeah, I did hear about his story.
It's some weird things, man, out there in the world that we don't know about. That's why he said when we deliver, we're gonna be in fear and be amazed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because there's some things out there, But moving forward, I want to play a video. Let me see if I got it pulled up. No, I don't, but it's not a problem to pull it up. What this is a quick video. We all know about what happened in the entertainment world, so to speak. We're gonna touch on that briefly a little bit, but one thing we're all familiar with is the play, that has been ran on us a lot of different times, where something will happen that'll draw everybody's attention, and while that's going on, there's other things happening behind the scenes. And so I want to share a video real quick. This is dealing with Russia and one of the moves that Russia has made while all of these other distractions are going on. All right, check this out.
All right, guys, this just happened. Russia has announced officially they will be moving to the gold standard and pegging their currency, the ruble, at 5,000 rubles per ounce or per gram of gold. It says here on the Epic Times that Russian central bank is to restart gold purchases from the banks. And it says here that they will pay a fixed rate, which is a peg, of 5,000 rubles per gram of gold between March 28th and June 30th. So this is officially a peg, but it's temporary. If they extend it, this has major implications. Everyone, here it is announced on the NASDAQ about the 5,000 ruble per gram peg. And here's how the price of gold is responding. Look at that giant spike. And here's something that you got to know, the dot you got to connect. Everyone likes to say that Russia's economy fell by 50% after the war, but look, it just came off a spike. So this is huge. And Russia announced that they're going to be taking gold as payment for oil, as well as Bitcoin. So what this means is the end of the U.S. economy. Bye.
What you think, bro?
Yeah, I like the way he ended that. End of the U.S. economy. Bye. Yeah, man. Yeah, I like I was saying before. I think I was saying this a little while back. This is the strangest war I've ever seen, man. It's just it's odd. You can look at the reports. Like I tend to look at Al Jazeera news. And if I just take like a quick glance over at the New York Times or the Washington Post or some other what they call liberal news, the way they're reporting on this war is so different. It's like it's night and day. Um, so I mean, one would be saying that Russia is like on its last leg, and Putin doesn't know what he's doing, and his army's getting confused, and they're about to go against him. And the other one will just be like, oh, the West is making up news about the war in Ukraine, and Putin is still in control and he's doing fine. I mean, it's just like a night and day reporting. So I don't know. I don't know about the currency. People are saying the currency is dropping, and Russian currency is dropping, but I just don't know. All of it just seems so strange to me. I don't get it.
Well, based on what you've seen and what you've been able to examine, what report is coming from which side? The report of Russia being on their last leg and running out of ammo. Who's giving that report, and who's giving the report of Russia pretty much, being in the top of this thing?
Yeah, so I tend to think that Al Jazeera is less biased. The papers that I've seen that'll be reporting like that Russia's on its last leg and running out of ammo is papers like the New York Times, papers like the Washington Post. Certainly those papers that would be described as more liberal and just more advantageous to the West. But when you read other news, it just doesn't come out quite that way. So I don't know. This war just seems strange. At one minute, they'll be like, "Oh, we're putting so much pressure on Russia that they're about to give in every minute. Their economy's dropping. Their people are really worried about how they're going to feed their children tomorrow." And I don't think that's happening. So I don't know. I really don't know what to say about this report you just showed, except that I think, and this is just coming from me and my thoughts about this, but I think Russia is fine. I think Russia is fine. I think they're doing fine. Of course, there might be some Russians who, are in Russia who don't want this war to happen. But I think the majority of those people feel like the West pushed them, specifically the United States, kind of pushed them into, having Putin make the decisions that he's making. I think that's what's happening. But again, I just don't know.
Are you familiar with RT News?
RT News? No.
RT News. It's like you mentioned, Al Jazeera, like an unbiased news station. It was a station that was real prominent for a while, that pretty much gave detailed accounts and unbiased accounts on different things that was happening. And I noticed, and this was maybe like a week or two ago, I went on the station. I was subscribed to the station, and they had it banned. A lot of the videos were banned in this country. And I thought that was strange, But then when you think about also the move that Russia is making, it's the same one that Gaddafi was making.
Yeah. Yeah, you see what brother Jabroni just wrote in the chat. I mean, that's kind of exactly what I'm, exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what I'm referring to, that kind of thing. See, this is what the media says: Ukraine is giving Russia the business, and Kherson, hours later,
Russia just took the city.
yeah, right. And that's exactly how it's going. That's exactly what we're seeing. It just is. It's really, really. It doesn't make much sense right now. It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, RT News, they banned the station, man.
Yeah, I actually never heard of RT News. Actually, I haven't.
No, who was that? That particular channel, if you go on there, you'll see a lot of events, different things that's happening in Russia, in Ukraine. I don't know if y'all remember me mentioning a couple of weeks ago about my belief that America has special interests in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So when a lot of people are thinking about the war in Ukraine, they're thinking about the whole country being invaded, when in my view is just a certain spot where America has their special interests and Russia is pretty much attacking that spot. This is why you have America sending a lot of aid over there. This is just my view on it.
Right, right.
But a lot of things have been brought out about that. Let me see what else I have. Let me share this video. One second. We still under fair use. Let me share this video. It's about 3 minutes. Now, remember we mentioned the power play. So while everything is happening in the entertainment world, this is what's happening in the quote unquote political world, or in a world where the decisions are made based on, our well-being and what we're going to do day to day, week to week, month to month. All right, check this out.
So something's going on with Joe Biden. His poll numbers are absolutely tanking, but it seems like elements within the Democratic Party are turning on him. We're not going to pretend we understand exactly what's going on here, but something definitely is. Here's just an example, and you remember this very well. Just before the last election, the New York Post ran a story about the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop. It was a huge story, but big tech censored it immediately. CNN and dozens of other former Intel officials told us that laptop was Russian disinformation.
There are fears that what Giuliani is now pushing here in the United States could actually be part of Russia's latest and very massive disinformation campaign in the U.S. presidential election.
So you have a president who is asking to obtain Russian disinformation, knowing that that is what it is accepting that same information, and he is then turning it and using it on the campaign trail against his opponent. And that
Brother Hal, I need you to help me understand something. And we keep hearing Russian disinformation, all right, as it pertains to the election and everything. And I never understood why that plays a part. Why does Russian disinformation affect an election, or why would that even be a factor? What access do the Russians have in terms of propaganda media in this country if there's so much of an enemy?
Well, yeah. So I think it has to, and I'm gonna try to be as careful as I can with my words, because I think this was that YouTube issue that we had. But I think what they're trying to get at is Russia's involvement using social media like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that to kind of skew people to vote a certain way. So when they say, I think this is what they're saying, when they say Russian disinformation, they're referring to that. They're referring to Russian bots or Russia getting into social media and kind of skewing people's opinion in a race. That's what I think they're referring to.
And I've heard of that as well. I'm just confused on how the Russians have access to control the social media here. If there's so much of an enemy to the U.S. and against the U.S.
Well, I don't think it's about access. I think it's about hacking, right? So the idea is that they would be using some type of bots or whatever to get into a certain person's platform and kind of send out messages to all the people that they're friends with on a particular platform. And if it's a Republican platform, then they're egging them on. If it's a Democratic platform, then they're kind of trying to skew them away from the Democratic Party.
That's kind of weird, in a way, because that's like saying, how do you stop people from connecting now,
Right.
But I think it's just Russian disinformation to me seems like a cover up for something else or a way to
disconnect your sorry.
What's going on, Brother Bunya?
Brother Bunya, what's happening?
But yeah, I think it's just a way to get people, like they're trying to, like you said, they're accusing Russians of trying to persuade people, but that in itself is a way of persuading people, in my view.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What's going on, Brother Bunya?
Hey, Shalom, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you on my onto my headphones.
Okay.
Did you do?
Yeah, Brother Bonnie, you kind of going in and out right now, bro.
Okay, he'll come back. I'm gonna play some more of this.
All right.
That's mind-blowing. It's sort of a crazy quilt at this point, which has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. That said, it wasn't for lack of trying.
CNN reported on Friday that U.S. authorities are seeing if those emails we just talked about are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
So it turns out when they accuse people of Russian disinformation, they're not always sincere. Of course, they're liars. They'll say whatever they need to say. That was before the election. They needed to get Biden elected. They did it. But now they're telling you something very different. Now they're telling you, in fact, the laptop is real. Here's CNN yesterday.
This is very, very bad for the president's son.
It is, and it's an investigation, as you pointed out, going back to 2018. And right now, prosecutors in Delaware are focusing on a number of things, including whether Hunter Biden and some of his business associates violated laws, including tax and money laundering laws and foreign lobbying laws.
They're now gaining steam, and they need to make a decision, I think, in the at least intermediate future. This case has been going on for 4 years, and there is a realistic chance this could result in federal charges. Of course, then we'd be in unprecedented political territory, not legal territory, but a situation of having potentially the Justice Department prosecuting and trying to imprison the son of the president.
What a freak show that channel is. Good luck to their new subscription service. But now they're telling you, yeah, it's all true, actually. And that's not the only story about Russian disinformation that has fallen apart this week. The Federal Election Commission just fined the DNC and Hillary Clinton, her campaign, more than $100,000. The FEC determined that the Clinton campaign tried to hide its role in funding the Steele dossier. Steele dossier is the false document that claimed, among many other things, that Putin got Trump elected. Turns out the disinformation was, in fact, paid for by the campaign. It was coming from the DNC.
So you go from Russian disinformation to pretty much everything in there is questionable and on trial now and true. We're still under fair use, by the way. But yeah, while these things are happening in the entertainment world, now you see the plays that's happening in the background, all right? And a lot of this ties to one of the points that I was making, I believe, about our country's interests, all right, in Ukraine. But any thoughts on this from you, brothers?
You know, I was just thinking, that whole, you know, that last election to get Biden elected, that whole, I'm gonna call it what it is, a scheme, right? You know, the most important thing that this country had to do was to make sure that Donald Trump would not be back in office. That was the most important thing. You know, never mind, you know, any reparations for you know, so-called Black people in America, you know, never mind focusing on anything else, all of our other social issues. This was the most important thing ever. So I believe it. I think they would have went through, you know, any means necessary to get Biden elected and keep Trump out. Yeah, it's a bunch of garbage.
Brother Bunya, you got any thoughts on that?
I kind of wonder, did they choose to have Biden in office because he's more controllable, or was it, you know, I'm wondering if it's because he was more controllable, because he definitely doesn't seem to have the intelligence to be able to actually run the country, you know. And Trump doesn't seem so smart either, but at the very least, he's a businessman. So economically, he may be more knowledgeable than Biden is. But like the brother Hal was saying, that was the thought process, to get him out of office at all costs. And I see that it was really they're really successful in planting that idea in Israelites' heads also. My cousin, when I was telling him out, you know, and I'm not into the political stuff, but I'm like, hey, this guy Biden's an idiot, right? You voting for him, no? And he's like, well, you know, let's just get Trump out there, and then we'll worry about it. And then I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but you know, just to question him on some of the reasons why he was doing that, you know. So, I mean, my thought process on it is that, you know, I don't believe everything is set up and staged. I really believe that they fumbling right now. They fumbling around, and I think they're in disarray as a whole. You know, because things, even though they can plan things, everything don't go according to plan. Especially you got the Most High in action. Whatever his plans is, it's going to come forth first. You know, so.
Brother Yash, if you was trying to chime in, it said that you need to connect your mic. So I guess when you were trying to chime in, your mic wasn't connected. But yeah, I agree, man. I think a lot of this is just the nations, being confused. And because of that, the people are confused. You got one narrative in one part of the world saying one thing, and then a whole nother one in a different part of the world. At the same time, you hear Russia making plays to be more independent. At the same time, when you look at the outcomes in terms of the projections, you see all the Western nations declining drastically, and all the other nations where we originally come from are increasing. All right. But let me see. Okay, I was going to do that one, but I'm going to go ahead and do it, y'all. We all seen it. This is under fair use still. And what I'll do is, this is the video with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. All right, I just want to get brothers' thoughts on it, if any. And what I'll do is, after it gets to the part where Will Smith starts to speak, I'll just mute the sound out, because we all aware of what was said. And I want to try to keep everything as respectable as possible. But I want to get everybody's thoughts in terms of what you believe happened in a peripheral manner, or in a subliminal manner. All right, check this out.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, so let's have it, man.
You should have played some sound effects when you should have played some background sound effects when he actually hit him.
Yeah, like the Batman sound effect, right? Like, dang.
With the words and everything.
Pow.
I'm gonna have to work on that, getting my sound effects. I'm gonna get that down pat. I have some. I just have to get to where I can manipulate the computers and everything more to get that in. So yeah, that's a definite. But what y'all think, man? In the chat, what y'all think? I know y'all been seeing it all over the place and hearing this and hearing that, and what's on your mind?
Brother Bonnie, you wanna go?
Yeah, I'll go. So first of all, I think, to a certain degree, it's a distraction. I think it's also, Eurocentric media trying to talk a certain way about our people. Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, man. That this stuff happens every day, all in the hood, man. Brothers get smacked, and that type of behavior because brothers running off emotionalism. But I think the real I think the thing is, man, everybody's so appalled, and you know, there's our people dying all around the world. People getting shot, people getting mass incarcerated, babies getting aborted. But this is the talk of the week right here. This is what's important to America. This is shocking. This is appalling to America. You know, but it's always our plight that gets minimized, man. Like Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, it's not going to change anything for black people. It's not going to. We seen shocking things. That's nothing, you know. But what they trying to do is get get us to condemn one person based off of whatever actions, as if that man's not redeemable. You know, every one of our people are redeemable. Chris Rock, he's redeemable for the joke that he said. Will Smith redeemable for whatever he did for smacking Chris Rock. I'm sure if them brothers, if he came to that brother and he apologized and he repented, I mean that would be a good thing in the sight of the Most High. And a lot of times we look at these celebrities like they, a lot of times we think they sold their soul to the devil. And can't sell something that don't belong to you. You can't compromise your integrity. But if somebody breathing, they always had an opportunity to go back to the Most High, repent. That don't mean they don't got to face the consequences for what they did. But I don't think we should condemn either one of them. I think we should just sit back and see how they trying to spin this and what they trying to turn it into. Because while we watching this legislation probably being passed to put our predicament in even more worse conditions,
And I can see that perspective. And that's why I brought out what I brought out before this, to kind of show that while this is going on, you have information coming out that pretty much shows that the greatest nation on the earth has been the main co-conspirator against its own people. And so you got this big distraction going on. But before I give my take, I want to let Brother Hal give his take on what he think is going on.
Yeah, I mean, a few things for me. I was going back and forth a little bit whether it was real or not. We've all heard that the Hollywood Academy, that they were having issues with viewers turning into the Oscars and stuff like that. I mean, I know we all remember a few years back, when they were saying that there weren't many quote unquote black actors and actresses and directors being nominated. So they were talking about boycotting it. And then there was that whole fake thing about one of the directors that did a black guy that did a movie, and then they called out the name of another movie instead of that movie. So that that was that controversy there. So when I really think about it, I think it might have been a little staged. But I don't know for sure. What I do know is that Will Smith has spoken a little bit about when he was younger, as a kid, him watching his mom get beat by his dad. And I've had the same experience in the past. So I do, from that perspective, I can sympathize with what he did. Because I can tell you, when we see, having gone through that experience, when you see the women that you love, you see them hurt, you see them embarrassed, you see red a little bit, and you sometimes step out of yourself and do things that that you should think better about. So from that perspective, if it was real, I sympathize with what he did. I'm not saying he should have done it. I'm saying I understand why he did it, if it was real. And if it was real from Chris Rock perspective, he should just be careful about who he makes jokes about. I don't know that. This is just because you're a comedian doesn't mean you have free license. You're putting down a woman in front of her husband, and if you're man enough to do that, then you're man enough to take the consequences of what might happen. So that's kind of my take on that.
I agree. In the context of an actual offense, let me say this. I don't really care about the situation one way or the other. Like I said, I believe it is a distraction. Even if it is real, it's a distraction. But when it comes to the overall situation, everybody understands that Chris Rock is a comedian. Everybody understands that he's hosting the Oscars and what that entails. Part of his routine is he opens up and he sort of tells jokes on people in the audience or different things like that. I believe that her condition, everybody's saying that she has alopecia. I don't know if she does. I don't really believe she has it. And if she does, it's not that extreme. I'm not saying it's not anything to not be embarrassed about, but I don't believe that it's anything that's extreme. And if it is that embarrassing, why would you show up to an event like that knowing what could possibly take place and not wear a head wrap or a covering or something like that? But I think it was a distraction. I think what happened was a reflection, an overall reflection of how they now want to perceive Black men in a way. You hear a lot of reports of Jada being pretty much the main culprit behind all of this, and calling her different things and how selfish she is and how narcissistic she is and controlling she is of Will Smith, and how she pretty much talks about Tupac and how she misses Tupac. And it's just a lot of things being brought to the surface, even about Tupac. If y'all haven't went to what's that, Thoughts Camera Action, his channel, go look at the video he did on Tupac. So when you combine that, and I'm not gonna give it away, I'm gonna send brothers and sisters to go and look it up. He did a video on Tupac revealing what Tupac was about. So when you fast forward and try to connect that with why she's so emotional about Tupac, I think it's all a ploy. I think it's all an act, and I think, like I said, it's all a distraction. You know what I mean? Even the defending of the honor, I see if there's a real threat going on, you know what I mean? Somebody's in danger, but that's Chris Rock. You know what he does. I don't think he would have responded that way had that been someone else. Now everybody's coming out about all their emotional problems and their past and all this kind of stuff. And But
Yeah, I hear you. It's kind of a strange thing to happen in that moment anyway, like right in front of everybody. So again, I do. There's something just kind of planned and fake about it. And the fact that of all the no, not that I really saw any of those movies, but that he actually won that night. This would be the night that he wins, right? It's just it's something kind of planned about it. But still, um, I do hate seeing us depicted against each other. Just in the eye of all of America, in the eye of our oppressors. I do hate the fact that now they can talk about us. They can talk about our situations, and they can feel free to do that. I've seen a lot of them doing it because of this situation, and I don't like that. I wish it was different. I wish it didn't happen, or if it was planned, I wish they didn't plan it. Um, I heard you say, brother Eric, like he probably wouldn't have done it to someone else, and I don't, who can we think of that would have done that though? If it was real, who can we think of who would have made a joke about another man's wife in front of that man, in front of on a stage in front of everybody? I just so I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
well, if you look at the joke he did prior to that one, it was the same way. I don't remember the guy's name. I don't keep up with those actors and stuff nowadays, but he was pretty much saying that he was up for an Oscar and she was up for an Oscar. But if you win, if she loses, then you can't win, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that may not seem as offensive, but like I said, I agree with defending the honor, of a woman, of your wife, especially when she's honorable. You know what I mean? But I think all of that was set up, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if she was that embarrassed about her situation, then maybe she should not have showed up. Maybe she should have wore a head covering, because this is the thing about it. If you view yourself in a certain type of way, that doesn't denote that anybody else have to see you in that way.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can get up and not brush your teeth, not comb your hair, not wash your face, and just walk out the door and say, I'm the most beautiful person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody disagree with you, then now it's an offense. And not to say that was a situation, but I think looking into it, all of that can be taken into consideration. You back, bro? Trying to get your system right, brother.
Yeah,
Byrd.
man. That's because I'm on the phone, man, and I've been getting stuff ready for the Passover. But when we start talking about her being offended, I really got to reflect back to some of the things that she said on her own show that should have been an embarrassment to her, and should have been an embarrassment to Will Smith. The things that she did on that and said on that Red Table Talk, that she's admitted before millions of people. Chris Rock's statement was the least of that. I mean, him saying, hope to see you in G.I. Jane 2. I don't know, man. And then there's the understand. Did he know she had alopecia? You know, and then what is alopecia? I have alopecia. I have it, right? And I can shave my head, and to a certain degree, my head would look normal, you know. But I'm not gonna take flight on someone if they have something to say about my head, you know. And then there's the other people that was before Chris Rock, Regina King. You know, she said things about the entanglement and things like that. You know. Now I'm not saying Will should have went up there and smacked her too. But look at the level of disregard for a man of color, a man that looked like us. You know. People don't say things to you and say things to people that you love all throughout your life. The answer is not always to get up and go and hit somebody. Right? Because what'll happen is you can hit someone and it can escalate. Right? And then someone can end up dead. You know? So I don't know if Chris Rock saying that really warrant him coming up there and hitting him, because everybody knows also when you're a comedian, nobody's off limits. Right? When you sit in front of a comedian, you better be Trump type, because if you look funny in some kind of way, you know, they're gonna get on you. That's their profession. That's what they hired them to go up there and do. You know, he was doing his job. You know, and then, you know, Will Smith came up there and he hit him because he felt like he disrespected his wife. You know, but his wife was disrespecting Will Smith from the start. I mean, showing how much she cared for Tupac instead of him, telling people about their sex life and stuff like that, how he's not fulfilling her, letting people know that she was sleeping with another man. You know, they got an open relationship, but you still put that out there, right? And people been talking about that, but you know, Chris Rock saying G.I. Jane 2, that was the breaking point, I guess. You know?
Yeah. And that's,
so I mean,
that was one of the points I was making when it comes to the honor part of defending the honor. You know, once again, you know, we can go all into the book to explain a lot of things, you know, but just looking at it from a point of view that we know, like you said, they had an open relationship, and that's just something everybody knows based on public information. How true that is, we don't know. You know, we've heard things about Will Smith. How true those things are, we don't know. How true they're not, we don't know. But I agree in terms of, you know, how that was handled. You know, like I said, when I saw it, I didn't even think it was real when I saw it, because the smack didn't look real. You know what I mean? It looked like like a straightforward slap. You know, when you slap somebody, you do it different, but
yeah, it had too much form to it. It looked like it had too much form. Like I don't know if it was real or not, but it didn't look real from it, you know. And it seemed like it didn't sound like a smack. It sounded like more of a punch. It's more like a oof, like a thud, right? You know. But I mean, look at how divided people are on this one issue, on Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. You know, this is just a microcosm of the things that go on with our people. It's small, but this happens, like I'm saying, it happens every day in our neighborhoods where our people don't respect each other's boundaries and are so quick to run up on each other, hit each other, shoot each other, kill each other, right? Based off of their feelings getting hurt, or based off of in some female that put a battery in their back. Brothers gotta learn how to be leaders and not followers. The sister's supposed to be following righteous brothers that's leading them into a peaceful, safe situation where they can raise the children and be productive members of society, right? But our people are too quick or too busy running up on each other and harming each other, and I think that's what they wanted to portray, that really no matter how high up you get, right, these are always some wild ape acting niggas, right? No matter how much money you get, you can't take the jungle out of these people. That's what they're trying to do.
Should have never gave you niggas money.
Exactly. So anytime they do something, it's always to spin something negative on our people as a whole, to make the women look like they're a certain type of way and make the men look like they're a certain type of way, and make our community look like we can't get it together. We can get it together, but we got to get it together. That's it. We know what we got to do. First and foremost, the Most High laid it out. The 10 Commandments wasn't the first thing he gave us for nothing. Because before you can build anything, it has to be a level of civility. There has to be a level of civility between the people. A moral compass of do's and don'ts. And our people are operating without laws in the community. And this is why they're doing these things to each other. It's not surprising someone in Hollywood would be doing that. But all this stuff is trickled down, man. It all happens within our community, and it's a repeating cycle that needs to stop.
Brother Rio, he say neither Jada nor Will are victims. They both are jacked up.
True.
Still my push-ups, Brother Rio, my fingertip push-ups. I ain't forgot. But that's true, man. They even show it, even in their children, And this is not to judge anything. This is stuff that they put out before the world. And this is what they trying to encourage our children and our people to do. These types of things. Now you got your sons wearing dresses and things of that matter. But anything else on that, man? That's, like I said, that incident alone can bring out a whole lot of different things, man, because what the enemy are doing with their entertainment, they're provoking our people, in my view. After this whole incident, now you go into this whole breakdown about Will Smith's past and Chris Rock's past and all these different things. Well, just think about how far that resonates throughout our people. We ain't never had a moment to vet or to be healed or to really address any real issues with our people. Even now, certain issues agitate certain people. And that just shows that the Most High is really going to have to move on our behalf and bring us out, you know. And we're going to have to be separate in order to deal with ourselves effectively, you know, because we still have this mentality when we bring things up. And this is everybody, you know, this is everybody. But moving forward, we're going to be addressing a lot of things that may bring some discomfort, you know, so just be aware of that. It's not out of hate, you know, but at the same time, I don't really have to justify what it's about or what angle I'm coming from, because to the pure, all things are pure. The things that we're going to get into going into the future are for the real, you know, those who are truly of the covenant. So moving forward, let's look at what's going on in the church. Where you at, Smitty? I thought Smitty would have chimed in. Let me see what I got here. All right, check this out. This is I just called this one Smitty. He sent this to me this week in the church. You gotta love our people. Check it out. Hold on.
No more Captain Crunch. No more cinnamon rolls. No more Lucky Charms. No more Cheerios. No more Wheaties. No more Frosted Flakes. No more Rice Krispies. No more nuts and gravy. One of these mornings, God is gonna call me home. I won't need no breakfast. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. God is gonna call me home and be reborn. No more chicken. No more.
He's singing that like he upset, like he's sad. Ain't gonna be no more of that stuff. I'm gonna be gone.
Is that for real, man? I was like, oh, is he really saying about Captain Crunch and Lucky Charms?
Some of them cereal I ain't never heard of before.
Oh my gosh.
But she noticed she gonna look up at him, give him that look like, you know, I'm still mad at you, right? Well, look, look at
oh man.
Watch how she look at him. Like, you know, I'm still mad. Look, watch this right here. Like, I'm only doing this.
Oh man.
I'm only doing this for power. He say no more chicken. He said that.
Wow.
When he said that part, he was upset.
But wait. So is this? Wait, where are they?
They look say like Elvis Presley in the back.
Yeah, I thought they was. I thought they were supposed to be in church. Where are they though?
They probably had to rent out a place, have a service.
Wow.
One of them $50. Get your ordained bishop $50.
Oh my gosh, man.
After that, all you need is a place to rent out and collect you some tithes.
Man, that's a good
one. That's
right
he said they had a blues house.
Oh. Wow.
He said he gonna be raptured off, man.
Yeah,
it says okay, this one right here. This one kind of threw me off a little bit when I saw this. This one is called "What's Under Your Basement?" What's under your church basement? All right. Now, this is not in English. It sounds like it may be in Italian or something like that. But let's check this out. This is under a church basement.
Stiamo entrando quindi nelle catacombe del convento di Bettineo.
I'm just going to mute out the sound since we can't understand them anyway, but we can see everything that's going on.
Yeah, all right, bro.
I know sometimes that may annoy people, but this is under a church basement. Called the Truth say it's the white folks' church. Somebody say that's the Vatican. But think about, what we know in history about how they persecuted and tortured a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think I can share the links now. I'm gonna put this link in there. And they got them everywhere too, man. I wonder, Brother Donovan say La Palm, Italy. Wonder how many churches had these things. You remember that video we did where the brother was talking about the rituals that pastors do when they want members to come to the churches? How they bury pig's head under the church or something like that.
What? No. I don't remember that video. No.
I don't think you may not have been there that night when I did that video.
Oh. No, I think I would remember that, so I probably wasn't around.
It was this guy. Oh, Brother Hal chimed out. Think he'll probably be back. Brother's having internet problems tonight. But this is under the church. And when you look at this, just imagine somebody being down there all that time, just dying, because that's what it looked like. They were just down there tied up, tortured, and just died. The Rio say I believe that's in Italy somewhere. Sound like Italian, the language. But that video is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Anybody want to go check that out? But yeah, that's that one. Let's move forward to some more things. Hold on. It's not showing up. Okay. I don't know why it's taking so long to come up. All right, well. Hold on one sec. You back, Brother Hal? All right, I'm gonna share this.
Hey, Brother Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I guess everybody's internet acting up tonight for some reason. But all right, this is the one I wanted to show, and then we're gonna get into the deal. Check this out. Did y'all see Jesus? That was the clan worship. I know y'all seen that, but that's one of the many facets of Christianity, right? I don't know if this dude was, you remember in a long time ago, back in I want to say the 90s, I want to say it was this group called the Power Team, and it was a bunch of bodybuilders. They used to go around and do routines, lifting weights and breaking bricks with their arms and their heads and stuff. And it was like a Christian group. All right. And maybe he was like an ex-member of the Power Team, because they used to have this one routine where they used to break these chains with their arms all the time. So maybe he's a retired Power Team member. But I want y'all to look at Jesus. Brother, he pulling tractors. Brother Yash, I know you remember the power. Look at that. Motorcycle jacket and everything. I wonder what was on the back of that. Did y'all see that? Hold on. Can't get a good view on it. Let me see if I can get a good view on the back of that coat. No, I couldn't. Maybe that was his name, his clan name or something. But yeah. In the church, brothers and sisters, that's what's happening all over. So when we talk about Christianity, in my view, we're not talking about anything in particular. You know, it's a mixture of a bunch of things, a bunch of different type of people. And, you know, when it comes to believing in Jesus, that's all you have to do. And you can be saved according to that. But that's one of the beliefs that the enemy wants us to be under because of his fear. The Bible tells us that the enemy knows that he has but a short time. And so anybody who knows and understands that is going to do all that they can to try to brace their fall. All right. When we talk about the judgment of the lake of fire, you know, burning fire with brimstone, the eternal judgment, you know, this is talking about something that's beyond anything that we can imagine. And this judgment was reserved and created for the enemy and those who fell with him from their first estate. And the sad thing about it, when you look at the judgment, the very ones who the lake of fire was created for won't be the first ones to be cast in it. The first ones to be cast in it will be the beast and the false prophet, according to Revelations. And so we know that when Mashiach establishes his kingdom for 1,000 years, Satan will be bound in a bottomless pit. But then it says that after that 1,000 years is fulfilled, he'll be loosed again to deceive the nations of Gog and Magog. Then after that is when he'll be cast into his reserved place. But we're going to get into some things tonight dealing with the enemy. There are a lot of things that Christianity doesn't want us to be aware of. And that a lot of people aren't aware of in general when it comes to the enemy. And that is that he has fear. The enemy has fear toward the Most High's chosen, and he has fear towards the apostles, the prophets, and the word of the Most High. That's what he has fear for mostly. The word of the Most High. You hear people say that the devil know the Bible too. But the truth of the matter is, when Satan hears the true word of the Most High, that brings fear, and he flees away from that. And so we talk about cheat codes. One of the main cheat codes that we have is the word of the Most High. Baruch tells us that blessed are us, being Israel, because the things that's pleasing to the Most High are made known to us. So we're going to get into some things tonight. Shalom and blessings. When I come back, I'm going to try to be as brief as I can through it. But I want to thank brothers and sisters nonetheless for spending your time. Hopefully we can get the brothers back. Everybody's having internet problems, but that's how it is sometimes. But shalom and blessings. We'll be right back. Shalom and blessings, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. Want to get right into it. We're dealing with the enemy. The title of this is "The Devil is Scared." All right. Why am I saying that? I want to show you that the Most High told us that His laws, His statutes, His commandments was our wisdom in the sight of the nations. Okay. He said that it was our wisdom in the sight of the nations. We know that the Most High's word is our authority. When Mashiach preached, it said that he preached as one who had authority. The Apostle Paul did the same thing. So the word of the Most High is the Most High's authority, that when he reveals it to his servants, he bestows that authority upon the servants that projects his word to his people. And so just to give some background about what we're going to get into, I did a few videos dealing with the history of Apostle Paul and his travels and everywhere he went and his contendings and different things that he went through, dealing with preaching the gospel. And so he came upon a city, and in this city, him and Philip had to pose as philosophers and teachers. And what they did was they started to teach the youth of the city wisdom and knowledge. And it was a way for them to infiltrate the city so that they can convert the people of the city. Well, they did this in a lot of different cities, but in this particular city, it is specifically said that they focused on teaching the youth. And when they did that, it upset Satan. Satan got upset about that because one of the things Satan wants to do is implant a lot of evil into the youth. You know, when you can corrupt the youth, then they'll grow up and perpetuate a lot of things that'll continue into the corruption, especially if you're aiming that at a certain people, certain demographic. But that upset the enemy, so Satan did what he could to manipulate the people into causing Paul and Philip to be judged and to be killed. All right, so long story short, Satan conspired to have Paul and Philip killed before the people. So what he did was he caused one of the leaders of the city, a man named Theudas, he caused him to believe that Paul and Philip was having an affair with his wife. And so Theudas, who was one of the leaders of the city, he wanted his son to be taught by Paul and Philip. And so what Paul and Philip would do after they taught the children of the city, they would send the children home to take a break and then to come back later when the sun went down, when the day would cool off. Paul and Philip would go back to Theudas' cabin. He let them sleep in his cabin. And while they were in the cabin, Theudas was in the city, you know, dealing with the counselors and the people of the city and everything. And while he was out, his wife was learning the word of the Most High from Paul and Philip. And so that got taken the wrong way. Long story short, Theudas got jealous. Satan disguised himself as a woman who was a harlot and convinced Theudas that his wife was sleeping with Paul, and he went in and killed his own wife as a result of that. But the part that we're going to read is dealing with how Satan seduces the counselors of the city as a means to go and find Paul and Philip. And we're going to read some of this. And as we're reading this, I want us to look at Satan's reaction when he actually has to encounter Paul and Philip face to face. All right, check this out. It says Satan seduces the counselors. And it says, after this, Theudas and all the counselors of the city rose up, and also Satan, who had taken upon himself the form of the son of the king of Medan. All right, because I didn't mention that once Satan found out that Paul and Philip was teaching all the youth, he posed himself as a king, and all of the other fallen angels with him posed themselves as tributaries to the king and everything to show up to this city. And they told the counselors of the city, which was Theudas and everything, Theudas and some of the other people that he were with, that they were looking for Paul and Philip, that they were traitors to his kingdom, and that they were to be killed. So he took himself the form of the king of Medan, the messenger of all sin, and all his hosts, which he had collected, and went into the lower part of the city. And with them were many soldiers and guards, and all the men of the city. Now Satan tarried and kept behind them, and he did not go with them, because he was afraid of the word or the voice of the apostles. But Theudas went before the counselors and magistrates and judges, and there followed him the captain of 1,000 and the captain of 100, and all the men of the city who had assembled in the crowd went with him. So Satan seduced all these counselors to go out to Paul and Philip, but it said that he tarried behind. You know, he tarried and he kept behind them. So as they were going into the city, he was basically following from behind. And it says he did not go with them. And it says because he was afraid of the word or the voice of the apostles. And we're going to read about an encounter that he had with Peter, but it says the orders went before the counselors and magistrates and the judges, and there followed him the captain of 1,000 and the captain of 100, and all of the men of the city who were assembled in the crowd went with him. And Thordus was weeping and crying and scattered dust upon his head. Then when they came to his house, he commanded the soldiers to kindle a fire and to burn down the room wherein were the apostles. Because he had pretty much lost his mind, he killed his own wife and his son, because Satan pretty much deceived him in thinking that this was going on, all because the apostles were converting his wife and all of the children of the city. And in the beginning of this, it tells you that Thordus was a wicked man anyway. In the beginning of this, when they got into this city, it says, and the governors and the magistrates and the captain of 1,000 and the captain of 100 tried to restrain him, saying, be patient and keep thyself quiet for a little, and we will do unto them what is meet. It says, restrain thy tears a little, that we may find a way to escape from all these men who are following us, and we shall see what hath become of these 2 men. For behold, their Elohim was with them, and we know that with him they will perform many evils, which shall be exceedingly greater than this. And straightway he ceased to cry, and quieted himself a little, and he took a key and opened the door, because when the apostles came into these different cities, they performed miracles, and they did a lot of like Mashiach told them, greater works than these. So they did a lot of things that even went beyond what Mashiach did. He gave them that power to do that. And so a lot of people perceive that as witchcraft when they did these things. And that's pretty much what they're saying here. Now watch this. It says, then immediately the spirit of Elohim seized St. Paul and Philip and brought them into the hall of judgment. And they found the devil and Satan seated there in the form of 2 governors. And the nobles of the people were gathered together, and they stood before him, and they knew immediately that he was Satan. So the Spirit of the Most High led Paul and Philip to the judgment hall of the city. And when they got there, they saw Satan posed as one of the governors. It says he found the devil and Satan seated there in the form of 2 governors. So just like the Bible says that Satan can transform himself into angels of light, you know, he can show up in other forms as well. Just like, who was that? It tells you how some angels appear as men unawares. And so we know that these are fallen angels. And at certain times, certain ones are given certain abilities. And so this is what he did. He posed as one of the governors. And when Paul and Philip saw him, they immediately knew who he was and was able to identify him. And it says, and Satan was afraid and exceedingly terrified when he saw them. All right, why am I pointing this out? It's because when we talk about the word of the Most High, the spirit of prophecy, having the spirit of understanding and wisdom in the word of the Most High. These are the things that the enemy fears. When Satan saw the apostles, when he heard the word of the Most High, when he heard their voices, he was afraid. And I'm not standing as one now saying that this is something that I have, but I'm saying that this is something that's possible. The enemy is afraid of the word of the Most High, because the word of the Most High determines the end of all things, and we know that it determines his end. This is why when the fallen spirit saw Mashiach, they pretty much, they got afraid. And they say, are you here to judge us before the time? Because when it comes to that, that's what they have to look forward to. And they're trying to manipulate as many of us as possible so that we can go down with them. But when we have the word of the Most High, it brings fear upon the enemy. This is some history of St. Peter. Check this out. It says, and it came to pass that when Peter had arrived in the city of Rome, which in the principal abode of Rome, the emperors, he entered into the Tetrabulon, that is to say, the four gates, or the great abode, wherein there were gathered together the prefects and all the nobles of the Roman emperors. And he cried forth, saying, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Elohim. Blessed are the pure in body, for they shall become the habitation of the Holy Spirit. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Elohim. Blessed are those who give to the poor, for unto them shall Elohim give in return. Blessed are those who have wives, and who are as if they had them not, for they shall become the children of life, and shall inherit everlasting life. And it came to pass that when they heard the voice going in among and around about the pillars of the four sides, or corners of the habitation or the throne, the pillars cried out and said, Amen. And the voice remained in the hearing of those who were assembled there. So Peter showed up in Rome. It says in the Tetrabulon, in the place where all the prefects and all of the high-ranking people were, and the nobles and the Roman emperors. And when he got there, he started to preach. And it says that after he preached, it said that his voice went all through the pillars and around the throne, and the pillars cried out and said, Amen. Right? The same thing happened. I believe that's in the Gospel of Nicodemus, where it talks about Mashiach standing in judgment before Pilate, and how when Mashiach went in before him, when they called him in, how the pillars bowed down before Mashiach. And everybody was pretty much amazed at that. And Pilate was in fear when he saw that. But Peter's voice pretty much resonated where all of these higher ups were, all through the pillars, and the pillars spoke out. And it says, now there was a certain man in whom Satan had dwelt for 70 years. So the spirit of Satan was dwelling in this man for 70 years. All right, pretty much saying that an evil spirit was in this man for 70 years. And it says, and at that moment, he threw him down upon the ground among those who were gathered together there. And he went forth from him in the sight of all the people by reason of the hearing the voice which had come out of the pillars. So this voice that Peter came in and spoke the word of the Most High, and the voice of the word resonated through the temple, all through the pillars. And when that voice was heard, it said that a man that was possessed with a demon, when that demon heard the voice, it said he threw the man down and pretty much got up out of there. It says in that moment, he threw him down upon the ground among those who were gathered together there. So just imagine somebody just standing there and all of a sudden they just get thrown to the ground, right? And it says he went forth from him in the sight of all the people by reason of the hearing of the voice which had come out of the pillars. This is the reaction. What happens when Satan hears the word? He's afraid. The enemy is afraid. This is why when a lot of these things are brought out, they're even taken lightly, because they don't want you to know the magnitude behind it. It says, and the prefects were greatly disturbed by reason of this thing, and they were afraid with an exceedingly great fear. And they came into their habitations, wondering with a great wonder, and every man of those who had heard the voice told each his wife. So they went home, and basically everybody went home and told their wives what happened. You know, they said it brought great fear on them when that happened, especially when they saw the man just get thrown down. And it said that Satan departed from him in the sight of all the people. So they basically saw a demon rise up out of this man, throw him down on the ground, and rise up out of this man and walk out. And it said, and it came to pass that among the nobles, there was a certain prefect. A certain prefect. I want y'all to keep this terminology in mind right here. Because when we dealing with who the Gentiles were and everything, you're going to see this terminology a lot. I'm not going to touch on it now, but I'm just going to mention that. Keep this terminology in mind. There was a certain prefect, right? When it mentions Priscilla and Aquila, it says there was a certain Jew that come from Italy named Priscilla and his wife, named Aquila and his wife Priscilla, right? A certain Jew. Then when it mentions Cornelius, it says in Acts 10, there is a certain man, right, named Cornelius. So keep that in mind. There was a certain prefect called Questos who had a wife whose name was Crocia, and her husband said, knowest thou not what had happened this day? And she answered and said unto him, what had happened, O Adonai, or O Lord, right? And he answered and said unto her, this day we were gathered together in the Tetrabulon, I and the assembly of prefects and all the elders of the kingdom, when there came and entered into our midst a man called Kepha, or Peter, and he spoke unto us the words, the like of which neither nor our fathers ever heard, and at length stone pillars spake and answer unto him. All right, so this statement right here, which neither we nor our fathers have heard. We're going to get into some history to show you that a lot of our people during this time who was scattered into these regions, they didn't really know the background history of our people. There are a lot of our people who were Hellenized and separated from the true heritage of our forefathers, meaning the Israelites. All right, but it says, and that lent stone pillar spake in an answer unto him. And it says, now there was a certain man in whom Satan dwelt for 70 years, and Satan went forth from him when the stone pillar said, Amen. All right. So he's basically witnessing to her the event, or recalling the event that took place when the word of the Most High was spoken out, and they saw an evil spirit rise up out of a man whom it says Satan was in him for 70 years. So remember what Mashiach promised the apostles before he sent them out. He gave them power to cast out demons, to stomp on scorpions. Basically, he gave them power over every aspect of the enemy, right? This is why the reaction that took place happened when they heard the word. Because the true word itself is the reflection of the kingdom. It's a testimony of the kingdom. And so when that word is being spoken, you're pretty much calling those things which be not as though they are. So when the enemy hears that word, he hears his end. And that's why they had to get up out of there. When Peter was saying, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are this, blessed are that, that's pretty much letting you know what it's going to be like in the kingdom. That's the standard of the kingdom. You know, when you go look at Mashiach's sermon, what they call the Sermon on the Mount, he pretty much lays out perfection for us. Blessed are the meek, you know, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake and for truth's sake. But check this out. It says, now at that time, my master, Peter, this is, I think this is Clement's account. It says, departed from this place into the city whereunto Philip had gone, and it was a well-known city, and the name thereof was Carthage. And it says, Satan appeared unto him on the road, and strove diligently to do battle with him. And it says, but my master Peter, says he blew in his face and spat upon him. And it says, Satan fled from before him, crying out and saying. So look at, according to this account, you know, the Bible even tells us that when Michael contended with Satan, it says that he told him, the Lord rebuked thee. So basically, a lot of what we learn about how to deal with the enemy is off base. You know, right here in this account, when Satan showed up before Peter, he didn't go into some Holy Ghost trance and start shouting anything. He didn't show the enemy any respect. He gave him pretty much he gave him an indication to get out of my face, move. And it says, and Satan fled from before him, crying out. This was Satan's reaction to what Peter did to him. But we learn otherwise. You know, we learn to give the enemy a certain reverence, you know, whenever we face with the enemy. Not saying that the devil appeared to anybody, you know, but this is just letting us know what we have access to. or the power that we do have. Look at what the power that he gave the apostles. Mashiach said that he prayed for them and for those who believe on him after their word. So he said, O son of the virgin, why hast thou taken away from me the position which thou didst give me? I think that's in somebody can correct me, in Isaiah 14, it lets you know what his position was. But he's calling Mashiach the one who has taken away that position from him. Because remember, in the beginning, it was Satan who was envious of the fact that the Most High made man in his image. So now, because of that envy, he deceived mankind and death entered in, and he fell from his estate, knowing what his end is. So he's afraid. Look at how he's reacting to what Peter did to him. All right. He showed up before Peter. Peter did that to him, but now he's speaking to Mashiach. It's because that's the authority that he's given the apostles. Why hast thou taken away from me the position which thou didst give me? Behold, my kingdom is ruined. It's already ruined. Right? When Mashiach came and died on the cross, that ruined his kingdom. That ruined idolatry. That ruined blood sacrifice. All of those things can be manipulated. His kingdom is ruined. And it says, my sovereignty, that is to say, the worship of idols, is destroyed. See? That was his sovereignty. Idolatry. That's where he reigned and ruled without opposition. The only opposition are those who are awakened to the truth and know the word of the Most High. Sovereignty. Christianity is his sovereignty. He reigns in Christianity as we know it today. That is to say, the worship of idols is destroyed, and the idols, which were the habitation of myself and of my host, have perished. So he already knew from that point that his kingdom was at an end. He says, worship is now paid unto thee alone, and I have no pretext against thy flock. All right. Ain't nothing I can do against your flock as long as they abide in your truth. My kingdom is ruined. Because the whole thing is to bring down the Most High's flock, his chosen people. But this is the power that we have. It says when you resist him, he'll flee from you. How do you do that? You do that by knowing the Most High's standards and living them out. His LSCs, it says, worship is now paid unto thee alone, talking about Mashiach. And I have no pretext against thy flock, but I will corrupt all those whom Peter and his companions, the apostles, teach through the love of gold and silver, and by reason of that desire, they shall return to me. So that lines up with what Paul said when he said that I'm jealous over you with a godly jealousy. For if one come and bring another Mashiach, whom we didn't preach, and another gospel and another spirit, ye might well bear with him. Or in other words, I'm afraid that y'all might get deceived into receiving another gospel whom we didn't preach, another Mashiach that we didn't preach. That's what he's telling Peter right here. I'm going to corrupt all those whom Peter and his companions, all the apostles, because he sent out like 120 something apostles, 2 by 2, into all these places to reach for the lost sheep. But everybody who they converted, he said he gonna corrupt through the love of gold and silver, and by reason of that, they're going to return to him. It says, I will make the worship of idols to reign again. I'm gonna bring back idolatry, because that's one thing that the apostles did when they went out and preached the gospel in all these places. They killed the idolatry. You know, when we did the history of Paul, we saw that that's one of the things he did. He made them destroy their idols, and then he established the assemblies in these places. And this is what the apostles was doing when they went out and for the sake of the gospel. He says, I will make the worship of idols to reign again. It says, I will also make him that attaineth unto the head of the priesthood among them to turn aside from the priesthood and to take gifts and bribes, so that there shall not be the reward of a priest unto any one of them. There shall not be the reward of a priest unto any one of them. All right. So in other words, I'm gonna corrupt the priests. All right. This is why the sacrifices, you know, when you look at the sacrifices, the priest always got a portion of all of the sacrifices. And so the more the priest could be bribed, you know, the more they could get, the more sacrifices people brought, the more they could get. You know, they turned a blind eye to bringing judgment on the people. You know, instead of delivering a judgment that the Most High ordained the priest to bring, they accepted bribes from the people. The enemy is behind this. It says, and I will make the priest to transgress the Torah of Elohim, and I will make them to be remote from his commandments. All right. So the intent was never to separate the Most High's people from his laws, statutes, and commandments. And even during Paul's day, we keep reiterating this, that he wasn't telling people not to keep the Most High's laws. He was preaching Mashiach and letting them know that Mashiach came to set us free from the works of the law, which were the things that justified us from the sins, the things that separated us. You know, under the law, whenever you sinned or got unclean, you had to perform a work. All right. And with our people being scattered into these different places, they had assemblies, but a lot of them didn't understand that because our people were scattered, Mashiach came to shed his grace for our people. And through his blood, we have redemption, and we're no longer under those works of the law. He fulfilled those things. It says, and I will make the priests to transgress the Torah of Elohim, and I will make them to become remote from his commandments. Hearken moreover, and I will tell thee, O Peter, it says, I will cause schisms to be among them, and they shall attribute to Mashiach various natures, which the hearts of men cannot understand. So this is why when you talk about Mashiach in mainstream, nobody can pinpoint who he is. Nobody can tell you what he looked like. There aren't any definites about Mashiach, because in Christianity, it's all about the spirit, right? It's not about anything but the blood. You know, when it comes to the blood, everybody's blood is red. This is the schism, the various natures of Mashiach. You know, now Mashiach love all types of people who transgress his laws. He's telling people that it's okay to do certain things. I heard a woman tell me once that her brother, who she said was he's gay, she said that her brother told her God said that he didn't say none of that stuff in the Bible. The various natures, you know, but we see that there's a culprit behind that. Various natures which the hearts of men cannot understand, and thereby will I make them to blaspheme against the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, because of these various natures, a lot of our own brothers and sisters reject Mashiach. Now the New Testament was written by somebody else now. Mashiach didn't exist now. He didn't die for your sin. These are all the things that I'm not uttering with my own tongue, but these are the sentiments and the natures that they have contributed to him. When the Bible is clear on who he was and what he did. And because of these things, it says he will cause, it says, and thereby will make them to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, which Mashiach said is unforgivable in this life and the next. It says, even as I myself has blasphemed against him. Right? He did that from the beginning. When he said, thou shalt not surely die. That's blaspheme. That destroyed humanity. It says, and I will go unto the recluses and solitary monks who live in the caves and in the deserts, and I will lead them astray by means of the vain dreams or visions, which I will make them to see. So there you go, Muhammad, and all of your monks and all of those different things. You know, people who saying they had visions and angels came and spoke to them. He said he's going to do these things. This is Satan appearing to these people. Joseph Smith with Mormonism, and the angel, he said, appeared to him. Notice they all have angels that appear to them. And right here, we see who it is. It says, and I will make my soldiers to have dominion over them through Beelzebub, who shall lead them astray, and they shall perform their desires. And like heathen priests, they shall make manifest unto men vain miracles, right? Just like in the days of Moses, it says, and I will send my soldiers to the assemblies so that they may strip out of the mouths the priest the spiritual prayer, whereby they make supplication that the Ruach HaKodesh may descend upon the offering. So he's going to corrupt the priests so that when they pray, their prayers will be corrupt, so that they can't bless the offerings. It says, and I will make them to possess the desire to have intercourse with those who receive them after messianic immersion. So this is why you have that messianic is talking about Christian immersion. So this is why you have a lot of sexual immorality in churches right here. Satan said he was going to inspire this, and the priests. And all this trickled down, and you see all this in Christianity now. That spirit is blatant in Christianity. It says, and I will plant in their hearts the lust of Sodom, so that they may perform it and may choose it rather than lawful intercourse with women. Right? Satan said he's going to corrupt all of the priests and the men to do these things. And it says, and especially shall their power spring from mine when they mingle tares with the wheat. Right? There go your mega churches. The mega churches are what I call the bridge between the black and the white church. It says the power that they have is going to spring from his. That's why we showed you the video with the brother saying where they get their power from. A lot of these pastors, where they get their power from. But he said he's going to put the lust of Sodom in their heart, right? So for anybody, you hear people say, or some Christians say that the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't homosexuality, it was a lack of hospitality. But he said, I'm going to plant the lust of Sodom in their hearts, that they may perform it and may choose it rather than lawful intercourse with women. All right. It says, and I will make them to cry out against the believers and to slay them and pour out their blood and to carry them away into captivity. This is what happened when all of the saints was persecuted, all of the apostles, you know, during the time of Nero, when he sent all them decrees out to persecute and kill everybody who believed in Mashiach. That was when the Apostle Paul was martyred. But he said they're going to pour their blood out in the streets. And then it says they're going to carry them away into captivity. And I will make their blood and their children, which are the children of the tares, to be acceptable offerings. All right? Because he already said he was going to mingle them. So this is what he's talking about. How people is going to mingle with the tares. And he said he's going to make that to be an acceptable offering. This is Satan. It says, and I will not delay in performing this thing. And I swear by the light, wherein Yehoshua Mashiach covered himself on Mount Tabor and on the Mount of Olives and in Galilee. And I swear by the might of thy Elohim, O Peter, with whom I take counsel, and know ye that he is my king and my Elohim. So this is Satan telling Peter that Mashiach is his king and his Elohim. He says, and I swear by the might of thy Elohim, O Peter, with whom I take counsel, and know ye that he is my king and my Elohim. Because why? Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Yehoshua Mashiach is Lord, to the glory of Elohim the Father. And that when he was immersed in the river Jordan, it was he who removed me from my place of abode. Right? So when Mashiach was baptized, he's saying something took place. He was no longer in that position anymore of being a light bearer. When Mashiach was baptized is when the Father expressed that this is my son, whom I am well pleased. It says, and I swear unto thee, by the time when my Adonai and King received power over death and cast it into Tartarus, that is to say, the depths of Sheol forever, and shut it in its face, the bolts of brass and iron, that I will cause tribulation to come upon the Messianics. All right, so this is talking about all that time of tribulation that our people went to prior to the scattering, all the martyring, all of the Maccabees account, when our people was put to death for not eating swine and all these different things because they were trying to take our people away from the laws, away from serving the Most High. The only way to properly serve the Most High is to keep his commandments, keep his laws. It says, and I will fight against them with all my power. It says he's going to wear out the saints, and I will never let them alone until the advent of him that calleth himself Mashiach, or the return. He said, I will never let them alone until the advent of him that calleth himself Mashiach, and with him whom I shall choose and help, I will be in everything which he desired to do, and I will give him dominion over those who have believed through thee, and through thy companions, the apostles. All right. Talking about everybody during that time, you know, and even now, they try to rule over us. He said he's going to be with whoever he said I shall choose, and I will help and be in everything. So Satan has people who he chooses to do certain things. Look at all those emperors throughout history and the decrees that they gave to slaughter all of the Most High's people. It says, hearken, O Peter, for I will wipe out all those who follow after Adonai Yehoshua, Mashiach, and I will destroy them on sea and on dry land. And know this, O Peter, and understand well, that he shall come and shall mingle temptation with the kingdom of Mashiach. It says, and he shall be at that time the means of ascent for the tares who shall come from the south, and the period of their days shall be according to the days of his appearance. And it came to pass that when I, Peter, heard these words from Satan, I made the sign of the cross over my face, and I rebuked him, saying, he who abased himself and took upon himself the flesh of man, and appeared upon men like one of themselves, shall blot thee out, O Satan, and he shall not give thee dominion over his servants. When I had said these words unto him, he fled from before me, and I saw that he became like a flame of fire, and I heard his voice saying, O son of the Virgin, thou son of the Father, thou word of light, thou strength of Adonai, from the days of the times long past, whensoever thou didst wish, thou didst reveal thy power unto me. So letting you know that Mashiach was there from the days of the times long past, just like he was there. That was Mashiach in the beginning of the creation. And it says, and having said these words, he hid himself from me. Why? Because Satan is afraid. Satan is afraid of the true word of the Most High. He's afraid of those who speak his word in truth and in authority. And he does all that he can to try to manipulate and take away that spirit of authority to whom the Most High has given it to. The Most High said, let me pull this up real quick. Give me a second. Let me pull something up real quick. there. And let me pull this up real quick. Because a lot of times when the word is preached or when it's spoken, a lot of times it's taken the wrong way. And oftentimes people, they get the wrong impression when certain things come out certain ways. But the apostles contended daily over the word of the Most High, over the truth of the word, especially with those people who were of knowledge and understanding, who established assemblies in these different places. There was always contention over the word, over who Mashiach was, whether he was the son of Elohim, whether he was the true savior. All these things was going on. There was always contention. But what profit then had the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly or mainly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Elohim. So the things, the oracles, the answers, the wisdom, the understanding, the giving of the law, the services of Elohim were committed unto the Most High's people. So with that, we should have authority when we speak in the truth. Because what's going to happen? One or two things is going to happen. And it won't be any different from what we read. People are going to believe. People are not going to believe. People are going to rebel and chide. And then you're going to have people who are going to rejoice. But in the end, we are going to be gathered before the Most High. And he's going to plead with us all the way that he pled with our forefathers. So this is why the enemy is afraid, and those who the enemy has access to are afraid. It's because the word of the Most High speaks into the end time, speaks to the heart of the matter. It cuts down to the soul of the matter. So when the enemy hears the word, all he hears is his end, his judgment. Satan knows he has to be bound. And so whenever we talk about our deliverance, us being brought out, us being restored, that's a time of him being bound and us being redeemed. And after that time of us being redeemed and being set up as rulers in the land of our forefathers, he's going to be loosed again for a short time. So wouldn't want to be him. That's all I got to say. All praise to the Most High, brothers and sisters. I want to thank y'all for chiming in on that. And I just want to encourage y'all to know that the Most High is with us. We have his word. We have hope through his word. The Most High said that his thoughts toward us are thoughts of peace, and thoughts to do good and to bring us back into, it's really, you can't even put it into words. Most you can do is read the scripture, and have hope in what's written, the hope of our people. But I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to close out. I want to thank my brothers for chiming in. They had some internet problems. I had a few myself tonight, but that's how it is sometimes. Want to give a shout out to the Salt of the Earth family. Shout out to everybody else doing work for the Most High. Shout out to everybody in the chat chiming in. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat about what we discussed tonight. When we come back, I'm going to look at a few things. If it's any in the chat, then we're going to close out. Shalom and blessings. I'll be right back.
I was hard-headed, stiff-necked, didn't want to do what my daddy said. So instead I tried to go my own way, so therefore I ran astray. So I was out there on my own, trying to fend for myself, doing any and everything. There were so many times I failed. Little did I know, Daddy was still looking out for me. So he sent my big brother down. Yeah, he left breadcrumbs for me. I was feeling the pain. Yeah, all of the suffering. He already paid the price. No need to keep wondering. Now I found my way back. Yeah, the struggle was real. Yeah, I learned my lesson from it. Can't express how I feel. Daddy, now I know better. Thank you for letting me in. Gonna do everything you say. Father, I repent.
Shalom, shalom. Anybody who has any music or anything you want to send to the family, and as we have our lives and fellowships, we play music, you know, as an appreciation for everybody's time. I want to thank everybody who has sent music. If you have those things, you can send it via email. Emails are scrolling across the bottom. Salt of the Earth 144 at Gmail, ebrystore@gmail.com, morescales1 at gmail.com. Then we have Brother Yash, email albourbon9 at gmail.com. So if you got anything you want to route to the family, send that via email, and we'll definitely route those things to the family. Brother Mir say, where can I find the aforementioned St. Peter contending scriptures. What you can do, Brother Amir, is just email me at ebrystore@gmail.com and I'll send it to you via email. You can get it that way. And for anybody who is interested in anything we bring out in terms of extra biblicals, anything like that, just let us know and we'll send that to you. We're also going to be bringing out a lot of historical stuff here in the future as well. We know that a lot of people have issues with the Bible and the accuracy of the Bible, which to me, a lot of those things are an unbelief, but the Bible tells us that truth is going to spring out from the earth. So you got truth coming out from a lot of different places now. And as much as possible, and as the Most High wills on our behalf, we're going to bring those things out to the family, the things that we can get access to. So anybody who is interested in anything like that, that'll be no problem. Just let us know and we'll get you taken care of on that. One more time before we leave, let me pull this up. I'm kind of excited about the work that's coming up, the part 2, dealing with the supersessionism part 1. The title of this is going to be Come and Get This Work, the beginning of the end for Christianity. All right, so we're pretty much trying to bring an end to all of the falsehood and everything that our people has been tied into, like what we just read. This is one of the plots of the enemy to cause our people to blaspheme against the Most High and against his word. And so this is what's happening a lot in Christianity, the big deception. And so I'm excited about this. I'm excited about being a part of it. I want to thank the Most High for the brother Bunya, brother Cleo, brother Kadar, brother Hal, brother Yash, everybody who has contributed, and to everybody in the chat family who has supported this, shared it with others. That's much appreciated. But in any case, be on the lookout for this. And also want to remind everybody about the website, trueebry.com. Go over and check it out when you get a chance. Check out the homepage. Get you some background information on the brand name, what it's about, and why you should wear it. Like I said, one of the things that inspired me growing up, I always wanted to be able to design something and wear my own name on the front of it. Same way people wear other big names, even if I had to wear it myself, and that's what I do now. But this is something I wanted to open up for the family, for those who want to support what we do. This is one way to do it. Click on the catalog tab and just scroll through. We have merchandise for kids as well, but we're going to be adding more. Like I said, it's my wife and I, so we're always passing ideas and trying to come up with ways to design the site and make it more appealing to our people. And so I want to thank you, brothers and sisters who have went on the site and supported, and to those who haven't, feel free to do so. And I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for that. Also, don't forget about Brother Hal Goodwin and the presentation he's working on dealing with Mashiach and the connection with the law. All right, so he's putting that together. Hopefully soon we can get a projected date on that. That way you brothers and sisters can be looking forward to that. So on that note, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go ahead and close out. But before I do, I just want to make sure that everybody knows and understands that we have power with the Most High. We have authority through his word and through following his word. And it's through those things that the Most High has promised us that no harm will befall us. And so that's my hope for my family. That's my hope for everybody who's listening in, the whole Salt of the Earth family as well. And so we're going to keep continuing to place our faith in the Most High and in his word, because like I said, even on a personal note, the Most High has really been blessing my family in tremendous ways. And so I attribute that to the prayers of the family, and just the grace of the Most High, and hopefully the Most High continue that and pass that on. And may the Most High make a separation, in these times. There was somebody in the chat earlier who asked for a prayer request. I forget who it was. If somebody can remind me of who that was. I didn't forget that. I didn't mention it at the time because we were in the middle of something. But if somebody can remind me in the chat of who that was. Maria. Okay, I think it says she wasn't feeling well, but my hope and prayer is that everything that's affecting our people, the Most High bring healing on our people, have mercy on our people. The things that we're doing to ourselves to put ourselves in harm's way, may the Most High not hold those things to our charge. May he blot out our transgressions, forgive us for our iniquities, and heal our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. And may he do these things according to our faith, because we know that he can do above and beyond what we can ask or think. And so we lift up the sister Maria. We pray, Father, that you bless her body, bless her mind, bless her spirit. Forgive her transgressions, Father. Bless her household. And we ask these things in faith in the name of your Son, Yehoshua, through your Holy Spirit. Blessed be your holy name. Amen. Also, want to give a special shout out to my brother Yahya Maccabee. He sent me a video the other morning, a real powerful video. It's a worship video. And maybe the next live I'll share that with the family, but he's a brother who's been dealing with some trying times. He suffered a loss in his family. I don't want to get too detailed, but I just want to give a shout out to the brother and thank him for sending me that video. And may the Most High be with you. But I'm going to go ahead and conclude this, brothers and sisters. I'm going to give me some rest, give me something to eat, get some rest. But I want to thank y'all once again for your time, for your support of the channel. If you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, share. If you really see this platform being of any use and benefit to the people, but that really would be appreciated in any case. Once again, I want to give a shout out to the Salt of the Earth brothers. Shout out to everybody else out there doing work for the Most High, in sincerity and in truth. And I want to give all praises to the Father, who is the sustainer of all things. I want to give all praises to his Son, whom he sent to redeem his people and to bring us back to what he has reserved for us. And all praises to the Holy Spirit, which is our earnest, the earnest of our inheritance, until the redemption of our people. Shalom and blessings, brothers and sisters. This has been Salt of the Earth Productions. May the Most High be with you. Keep you in blessings. All praises. Hallelujah.
Everywhere I go, the children rising. Everywhere I go, the children rising. I saw them just rise up. The wicked running. I saw them just rise up.